You think the NBA invented the three-pointer? Nah, think again. Long before Steph Curry was even born, the ABA was draining threes like it was nobody's business. Get ready to dive into the story of the wild league that shook up the basketball world and what ultimately happened to it. Now, I want you to imagine this and concentrate very hard. The NBA is like a fancy 5-star restaurant. All the chandeliers and the white tablecloths. The ABA, on the other hand, you can say it's like a food truck parked outside, serving up bold flavors and a side of attitude. The NBA thought they were the only game in town, but the ABA was ready to prove them wrong. Think of it like this: the NBA was an established powerhouse, the one everyone knew. But then the ABA burst onto the scene in 1967, like a neon sign flashing in the night. Suddenly, basketball fans had a choice. They could stick with the classic NBA, or they could check out this brash new league that was doing things its own way. The ABA was all about showing that basketball could be more than just a game. It could be a full-blown spectacle. They brought in the three-point shot before anyone knew how valuable it would become. They were throwing down monster dunks before the NBA even had a dunk contest.
The tomahawk dunks. All those things found a home in the ABA.
The ABA introduced a colorful red, white and blue ball instead of the traditional orange one. The ABA was a magnet for the underdogs and the misfits. Guys like Julius Erving were lighting up the court with moves that would make your jaw drop. The NBA coaches scoffed, calling him too flashy, too much of a showboat. But the fans, they couldn't get enough. His gravity-defying dunks and acrobatic layups became the stuff of legend.
I think with the doctor, yes, he's got it. Here he comes. Way rock the baby to sleep and slam dunk.
And it wasn't just Dr. J. The ABA gave a chance to a whole bunch of players who might not have been gotten a look in the NBA. Think about it. The NBA was all about that polished, textbook style of basketball. The ABA said, "Hey, we like your raw talent and your unconventional skills. Come on over." Players like Connie Hawkins, who was unfairly blacklisted from the NBA, found a home in the ABA and showcased his incredible skills. The ABA was a proving ground for future NBA stars like Moses Malone, George Gervin, and Artis Gilmore. Meanwhile, the ABA themselves were a whole other story. The New York Nets, born in a roller derby rink, were the ultimate party team. The Kentucky Colonels, they practically invented modern day cheerleading. This wasn't just basketball, it was entertainment. The ABA embraced showmanship and personality. They had flamboyant owners, colorful uniforms, and halftime shows that rivaled the game itself. The Indiana Pacers even had a mascot named Boomer, who would fire himself out of a cannon. But while the ABA had a lot going for it, it wasn't all slam dunks and flashy uniforms. Behind the scenes, it was a bit of a financial struggle. Some teams played in smaller arenas. They didn't have the same level of funding as the NBA. It was harder for them to attract big name sponsors and TV deals, which meant less money to pay the players and keep the lights on. That's why, as crazy as it sounds, merging with the NBA was kinda necessary for the ABA's survival. The NBA, they were the kings of the court, the established order. When the ABA came along, challenging their dominance, they tried to downplay it. They acted like the ABA was some amateur league full of clowns and misfits. But deep down, they knew ABA was shaking things up. Fans loved the ABA's fast-paced, high-scoring games and the crazy dunks and that three-point shot. The NBA, with its slower, more fundamental style, was starting to look a little stale in comparison. The NBA may have acted like they were doing the ABA a favor by merging in 1976, But in reality, it was the NBA that got a much needed boost. The ABA injected energy, excitement, and new ideas into the sport. Without the ABA pushing the boundaries, we might still be watching a much slower, less thrilling version of basketball. The three-point shot, the slam dunk contest, even the showmanship and the flair of today's NBA stars, it all traces back to the ABA. It was the Wild West of basketball, and it left an undeniable mark on the game we know and love today. The NBA might have acted like the big brother saving the day, but the truth is, they were the ones who needed ABA more than they'd ever admit. So yeah, the ABA might be gone, but their legacy lives on. Every time you see a three-pointer swish through the net or witness a gravity-defying dunk, remember, the ABA did it first, and they did it with style. They were the rebels, the underdogs, the ones who dared to be different, and they changed basketball forever. The merger with the NBA in 1976 was bittersweet. 4 ABA teams, the Denver Nuggets, Indiana Pacers, New York Nets, and San Antonio Spurs, were absorbed into the NBA. The rest? They faded into the history books. It was a tough ending for a league that brought so much to the game. But even though the ABA is gone, its spirit lives on. The three-pointer, the slam dunk contest, the fast-paced style of play. These are all things we can thank the ABA for. So in a way, ABA didn't really disappear. Its spirit was absorbed into the NBA, changing the game forever. You thought the video ended, didn't you? Well, not quite yet. Before we wrap up, there's one more twist in the tale of the ABA. In 2000, it made a surprising comeback, but this time it wasn't about challenging the NBA. Instead, the new ABA partnered with the NBA almost like a friendly handshake across the generations. Now, don't get confused. This isn't the same high-flying, rule-breaking ABA we've been talking about. Think of it more like the NBA's developmental league, a place where young talent can hone their skills and maybe, just maybe, earn a shot at the big leagues. It's a semi-professional minor league full of hungry players with dreams of making it to the NBA. So while the original ABA might be gone, its spirit lives on in two ways. First, its innovations and style are woven into the fabric of today's NBA. And second, there's this new generation of ABA players carrying the torch in their own way. They might not be playing in sold-out arenas or on national TV, but they're keeping the dream alive, proving that passion for the game never dies. It's a reminder that even though the original ABA story had a bittersweet ending, it also planted seeds that continue to grow and evolve. The ABA might be gone, but its legacy is still very much alive, both in the NBA's DNA and in the hearts of those who love the game.